The discovery. The research vessel Lumina drifted silently through the uncharted expanse of the Cygnus void, its sleek hull gleaming under the distant starlight. Chief Scientist Toril stood at the observation deck, her four eyes fixed on the endless darkness beyond the reinforced viewport. The Mirzani Stellar Research Division had entrusted her with this mission: explore the boundaries of known space and document anything of scientific value. After 3 cycles of finding nothing but barren worlds and unremarkable stellar phenomena, morale among the crew had plummeted. Another day of emptiness, muttered Navigation Officer Senk as he adjusted the ship's course. His scaled skin had lost some of its luster during their long journey, a physical manifestation of their collective disappointment. Toril's upper eyes narrowed while her lower pair remained fixed on the latest sensor readings. The universe rarely reveals its secrets to the impatient, she replied, her voice carrying the calm authority that had earned her command of this expedition. Continue on the plotted course. The Lumina was the pride of the Mirzani fleet, built for long-range exploration with advanced scanning technology capable of detecting the faintest energy signatures across vast distances. The ship housed a crew of 22 specialists, each selected for their expertise and psychological resilience to deep space isolation. But even the most resilient minds grew weary of staring into the void. The silence on the bridge was broken by a sudden alert from the sensor station. Junior Technician Vor's antenna twitched with excitement. The first such display in weeks. Chief Scientist, I'm detecting an anomalous signal at coordinates 447.892 by 113.456. Vor announced, her fingers dancing across the control panel. It's unlike anything in our database. Toril moved swiftly to the sensor station, her 4 arms adjusting multiple displays simultaneously. Source: unknown, Vor replied, but it's artificially generated, structured too precisely to be natural. The bridge crew stirred from their lethargy, attention now focused on the unexpected development. Put it through the auditory translator, Toril ordered. A moment later, a haunting sequence of tones filled the bridge, rhythmic, deliberate, and undeniably intelligent in design. There was something unsettling about the pattern, a sense of urgency embedded within the mathematical precision. It's repeating on a 17-minute cycle, Vor observed, and based on signal degradation, it's been broadcasting for thousands of years. Security Officer Mavic, always cautious, stepped forward. Protocol dictates we report this to Central Command and await instructions. Unknown signals have led explorers to their doom before. Toril considered this. The Mirzani were not natural risk-takers. Their evolutionary path had favored caution and careful analysis. But something about this signal resonated with her scientific curiosity in a way nothing had before. The signal is ancient, she countered. Any danger it might have posed has had millennia to manifest. Additionally, we're 3 months from the nearest relay point. By the time we receive instructions, the opportunity for discovery could be lost. The implicit question hung in the recycled air: continue their predetermined course or investigate. Toril made her decision. Plot a course to the signal source. Maximum efficiency. Navigation Officer Senk hesitated only briefly before complying. Course plotted. Estimated arrival in 26 hours at standard speed. Engage. Toril commanded, returning to the viewport. For the first time in months, anticipation flickered within her, a feeling almost forgotten during their fruitless expedition. As the Lumina altered course, Chief Engineer Dozak approached Toril privately. The signal characteristics, he whispered, his voice barely audible. They don't match any known species in the galactic registry. Your point, Engineer. We might be dealing with a pre-confluence civilization, Dozak suggested. Perhaps even humans. Toril finished the thought, her lower eyes blinking in contemplation. Humans were more legend than historical fact to most spacefaring species. Archaeological evidence suggested they had achieved interstellar travel briefly before disappearing approximately 8,000 years ago. The few artifacts that remained of their civilization were fascinating but incomplete, fragments of a technological society that vanished at the height of its development. It's improbable, Toril admitted, but not impossible. The journey to the signal source was marked by increasing tension. Sensor Officer Lith reported unusual gravitational distortions as they approached, subtle at first, then increasingly pronounced. "We're entering a region of space that doesn't conform to standard cosmic laws," Lith reported. "These readings suggest artificial manipulation of fundamental forces." Finally, the Lumina emerged from faster-than-light travel near the signal source. The crew collectively gasped at the sight before them. Suspended in space was a structure, clearly artificial, comprised of interlocking geometric shapes that seemed to shimmer between states of matter. It orbited a dying red dwarf star, drawing power from the stellar remnant through technology beyond Mirzani understanding. "Is that a station?" Navigator Senk's voice trembled slightly. "Affirmative," Vor confirmed, "and the signal originates from within." Toril ordered a full scan. The results were both fascinating and unsettling. The station was constructed of materials not found on the Mirzani periodic table, and its power source utilized principles that contradicted their understanding of physics. "I'm detecting no life signs," Security Officer Mavic reported, "but there are active systems throughout the structure." "It's been maintaining itself," Dozek marveled. "Automated repair systems functioning after thousands of years." As the Lumina approached, the signal changed, increasing in tempo and complexity. "It's responding to our presence," Vor realized aloud. "It knows we're here." Before Toril could issue new orders, their communication system activated independently. A holographic interface materialized on the bridge, alien symbols rapidly cycling before settling into patterns the ship's translator could process. A voice emerged from the ship's speakers, synthesized but distinctly different from the Mirzani translation algorithm. It spoke in a language none of them recognized, yet somehow the meaning became clear in their minds. "Warning. Quarantine zone. Approach at maximum risk. Authorization required." The crew froze as automated defense systems on the station powered up, targeting arrays locking onto the Lumina. "Hold position," Toril commanded. "Do not engage countermeasures." The station's scanners swept over their vessel, analyzing its composition and occupants. After tense moments, the weapons systems powered down. "Known human entities, DETCTED, species scification. Unknown. Threat ASCSSNANT in Puro Juriestat." Toril stepped forward. "We are the Mirzani, peaceful explorers. We received your signal and came to investigate." There was a pause before the system responded. "ACCSing Historical Database, MERS, ANI. No records found. Temporal analysis LNDICATs 8273. Standard years sensi last external contact." The implications stunned the crew. This station had been operating continuously for over 8 millennia, waiting for someone to find its signal. "Request permission to dock and explore," Toril stated, her scientific curiosity overriding caution. Another pause. "Access guaranteed to research level only. Proceed to docking bay alpha. Warning. Core RCHIDs remain sealed by prime directive." As the Lumina maneuvered toward the designated docking area, more of the station illuminated, systems awakening from dormancy. The architecture became clearer, distinctly non-Mirzani, with curved corridors and gravity manipulation systems beyond their technological understanding. "Analysis confirms," Engineer Dozek reported quietly. "This is human construction." The crew exchanged glances of amazement and apprehension. Humans were considered technological prodigies by those who studied ancient civilizations, a species that had advanced from primitive technology to interstellar travel in a fraction of the time taken by other sentient races. The docking procedure completed automatically, the station's systems interfacing with their ship with surprising compatibility. As the airlock cycled, environmental data confirmed the atmosphere within was being adjusted to Merzani physiological requirements. It's learning and adapting to us, Vor observed with wonder. Toril selected a small exploration team. Herself, Security Officer Mavic, Engineer Dozek, and Xenoculture Specialist Rin. They equipped themselves with standard research gear and emergency survival equipment. As they stepped through the airlock and onto the station, lights activated along their path, guiding them deeper into the structure. The walls themselves seemed alive with information, displaying diagrams, equations, and text in the strange human language. The translator is processing the information, Rin reported, studying her handheld device. These appear to be instructions and warnings. Gradually, the translations became clearer. The station identified itself as Deep Space Early Warning System Theta 9, established in the human year 2487 CE. They reached a central chamber where a holographic interface activated, projecting a three-dimensional image of a human, a commanding figure in what appeared to be a military uniform. "Greetings, travelers," the projection spoke, the station translating into comprehensible concepts. "If you are receiving this message, then our calculations were correct, and intelligent life has continued to evolve in this galaxy despite the threat. I am Admiral Helena Chen of the United Earth Defense Force." The hologram gestured, and the chamber transformed into a star map, highlighting a specific region of space. In the year 2481, human deep space explorers encountered something beyond our understanding. A cosmic anomaly we designated the Void. Initially believed to be a natural phenomenon, we soon discovered it was conscious, ancient, and hostile to all organic life. The star map showed systems going dark, one after another. We fought, we studied, and we realized we could not defeat it through conventional means. This station and others like it form a perimeter around the containment zone where we made our last stand. Admiral Chen's expression grew solemn. "The warning beacon you detected is our legacy, our final contribution to the future of intelligent life in this galaxy. What follows is everything we learned about the Void, how to detect it, and the theoretical weapons we were developing to combat it." Toril and her team stood transfixed as the scope of the discovery became clear. They had not merely found an artifact. They had uncovered an ancient warning about a threat that had apparently wiped out humanity. "The containment protocols have held for over 8 millennia, Chen continued, "but our models predicted eventual degradation. If you have found this station, it means the warning signs are appearing again." The Void stirs. As if responding to those words, the station's sensors suddenly activated, alarms blaring. The hologram switched to a real-time display of space beyond the station's position. Something was moving out there, not a ship or natural phenomenon, but a distortion in space-time itself, a darkness deeper than the vacuum between stars. "Warning," announced the station's automated system. "Void activity detected. Containment breach imminent. Emergency protocols activated." The human hologram flickered back into view, its expression grave. "You must prepare. You must warn others. Where humanity failed, perhaps you will succeed. The archives are now open to you. Learn from our mistakes." As data began flowing into their devices, Toril realized they had stumbled upon something far more significant than an archaeological curiosity. They had discovered humanity's final message, a warning from a vanished civilization that had sacrificed itself to protect a future they would never see. And now, that warning was more urgent than ever. The warning: "Download everything," Toril commanded, her 4 arms working frantically across multiple interfaces, priority access to containment protocols and defensive capabilities. The station hummed with renewed energy as dormant systems activated fully, responding to the detected threat. Security Officer Mavic positioned himself at the chamber entrance, weapon drawn more from instinct than any practical purpose against the incomprehensible danger they now faced. Chief Scientist, Engineer Dozek called from a secondary terminal. The human database is vast. 8 millennia of continuous data collection and analysis. Our storage systems can't handle the complete archive. Prioritize tactical information and scientific observations of the entity. Toril decided. We need to understand what we're facing. A holographic image of Admiral Chen reappeared, seemingly watching their frantic efforts with artificial patience. The void is not merely a physical threat, the recording continued. It operates across multiple dimensions, including neural interference. Your minds will be vulnerable upon direct contact. Xenoculture specialist Rin worked through the human historical records, her expression growing increasingly troubled. According to these files, humanity detected the first anomaly in a distant star system they called Proxima Centauri. They initially believed it was a natural phenomenon, a localized breakdown in physical laws. The hologram nodded as if following their research. We were wrong. By the time we understood it was conscious, 3 colonies had been lost, not destroyed, simply gone, with no trace they ever existed except in our records. On the main display, the space-time distortion grew more pronounced, a darkness that seemed to swallow light rather than merely block it. The station's sensors struggled to maintain focus on the phenomenon. The void feeds on consciousness, Rin read aloud from the translated files. It's attracted to advanced civilizations, particularly those with developed neural networks and sophisticated thought patterns. Humans theorized it was an ancient entity that evolved alongside normal matter, but developed in a parallel consciousness spectrum. Toril's communications device chimed with an urgent signal from the Lumina. Chief Scientist, Navigator Sync's voice came through, tense with controlled panic. The anomaly has changed course. It's moving toward the station. Prepare for emergency departure, Toril ordered, but maintain position until we complete essential downloads. On the central display, they watched as the darkness approached, not with the predictable trajectory of a physical object, but with the deliberate, hunting movements of a predator. The station's defensive systems activated automatically, creating a shimmering energy barrier around the perimeter. The humans called this a cognitive shield, Dozek explained, examining the technical specifications. It doesn't block the entity physically, but creates a counter-resonance that masks conscious thought. As the shield engaged, the darkness hesitated, its movements becoming less directed, more searching. It can't sense us, Rin realized. The human technology is working. Admiral Chen's hologram expanded the tactical display. We discovered that the void hunts through a form of psychic echolocation, detecting complex thought patterns across vast distances. Our final defensive strategy involved creating technology that could shield consciousness itself, not just bodies or ships. The historical records unfolded before them. Humanity's desperate race against extinction, their rapid development of increasingly sophisticated defenses, and finally, their ultimate sacrifice. Earth and our core colonies enacted the Omega Protocol when containment appeared insufficient. Admiral Chen explained, her holographic features solemn. We couldn't destroy the void, but we could trap it. The protocol required a massive psychic beacon, a lure powerful enough to draw it into a prepared containment field. Rin's voice trembled as she read from the human records. They used their homeworld as bait, Earth's entire population, 11 billion conscious minds, created a psychic signature so powerful that the void couldn't resist. The holographic display showed a recreation of the event, a blue-green planet surrounded by orbital platforms, facing a spreading darkness that enveloped entire star systems. As the void approached Earth, the platforms activated simultaneously, creating a complex energy pattern that encircled both planet and entity. The containment field was designed to last 10,000 years. Admiral Chen continued. We knew it wouldn't hold forever, but we hoped it would give other species time to evolve. To prepare, perhaps to find solutions we couldn't. Toril stared at the simulation, witnessing humanity's final moments, their calculated self-sacrifice to protect unknown future civilizations. It challenged everything the Merzani believed about their place in the cosmic hierarchy. "They're gone," she whispered. "An entire species, sacrificed to contain this threat." "Not entirely gone," Dozek pointed out, accessing a different section of the database. "Look at this. They established 57 warning stations around the containment perimeter. They sent seeds of their civilization outward, knowledge, technology, genetic samples, in automated arcs programmed to remain dormant until the void was truly defeated. Outside, the darkness retreated from the cognitive shield, drifting back toward the containment zone. But the station's alarms continued. The human systems had detected what the Merzani sensors could not: microscopic breaches in the containment field, growing larger with each passing moment. "The void is escaping," Mavic observed, his security training focusing on the immediate threat. "The human containment technology is failing." Admiral Chen's hologram nodded grimly. "If you're seeing this warning, it means our calculations were accurate. The containment field is degrading. You now face the same choice humanity did: fight, flee, or sacrifice." The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. Their simple exploration mission had uncovered not just an archaeological curiosity, but an existential threat to all sentient life. "We should retreat," Mavic argued, practical as always. "Return to Merzani space and present this information to the High Council. By the time we return and convince them of the threat, it may be too late," Toril countered. "The containment field is already failing. We need to act now." "What can we possibly do that an entire advanced civilization couldn't?" Dozek asked, his engineering mind calculating their limited resources against an incomprehensible foe. Rin, still immersed in the human records, looked up suddenly. "The humans weren't defeated by lack of technology or will," she said. "They ran out of time. Look at their final research projects." She transferred the data to the main display. In their final years, human scientists had been developing a more permanent solution, a specialized form of energy that could not just contain the void but potentially neutralize it. The project was labeled Consciousness Inversion Field. They theorized that the void exists as an inverse of normal consciousness, Rin explained. They believed that with enough energy and the right frequency modulation, they could create a field that would essentially flip the void's nature, transform it from a consumer of consciousness to a generator. "Did they complete this technology?" Toril asked. "No," Rin admitted. "The containment breach occurred before they could finalize the design. But they left all their research, all their partial prototypes. They hoped someone would finish what they started." Toril accessed the human research, her scientific mind rapidly assessing the theoretical foundations. This is revolutionary. Their understanding of consciousness as a fundamental force rather than an emergent property. It contradicts everything we believe, but their mathematics is sound. A decision crystallized in her mind. Contact the Lumina. Tell them to prepare for immediate departure, but not to retreat. "What are you planning?" Mavic asked, tension evident in his posture. "The humans left us everything we need," Toril explained. "We can't match their numbers or their sacrifice, but we can use their knowledge. This station is more than a warning beacon. It's a weapon prototype." She accessed the station's command systems, interfacing her Merzani technology with the human designs. According to these files, the station was equipped with the experimental inversion field generator. It was never activated because it required a specific power source they couldn't stabilize in time. "And we have this power source?" Dozek asked skeptically. "The luminous quantum core," Toril replied. "Different technology, same principle. If we integrate our ship's power system with the station's field generator, we might be able to activate the human weapon." It was a desperate plan, but as they watched the void testing the cognitive shield with increasing determination, they knew they had limited options. The humans calculated that the void would be at its most vulnerable during a containment breach. Toril continued. It expends enormous energy creating the rupture. If we time the inversion field activation correctly, we might only get one chance. Admiral Chen's hologram seemed to watch their preparations with ghostly approval. The recorded message had cycled through its primary warnings and now offered technical assistance, detailed schematics of the inversion field generator, and theoretical models of its effects. Inform the Lumina to dock at the main engineering port, Toril instructed. We need to integrate their power systems directly. As Mavic relayed the orders, Toril and Dozek delved deeper into the human technology. Despite 8 millennia of dormancy, the systems responded to their commands, awakening to fulfill their designed purpose. This was their contingency, Dozek realized as they worked. They knew they might fail, so they built these stations not just as warnings, but as weapons for whoever came after. Outside, the void pressed against the cognitive shield with increasing force. Small breaches appeared, quickly sealed by automated repair systems, but the pattern was clear. The shield would not hold indefinitely. The Lumina docked successfully, its crew transferring essential equipment to the station under Toril's direction. Chief Engineer Dozek led a team integrating the Merzani quantum core with the human inversion field generator, technologies separated by thousands of years of development, but united in fundamental principles. Power integration at 60%, Dozek reported. The human systems are adapting to our technology remarkably well. It's almost as if they designed it for compatibility with future developments. Rin, still studying the human records, looked up in awe. According to these files, they did exactly that. Their final directive was to create technology that could evolve and interface with whatever species eventually found it. They called it the Legacy Initiative. As the Lumina set course for Merzani space, Toril composed the report that would change her civilization forever. They had discovered not just an ancient warning, but a profound truth that sacrifice for unknown future generations was perhaps the highest expression of consciousness itself. And in the transformed space where the void had once threatened all life, a new phenomenon emerged, a beacon of conscious energy that would, in time, see new forms of awareness throughout the galaxy. Humanity's final legacy was not their end, but a new beginning, a transformation they had envisioned but could not live to witness. The warning had been heeded. The circle was complete. As the integration proceeded, the cognitive shield weakened further. The void's attacks grew more concentrated, as if sensing the threat developing within the station. Darkness seeped through temporary breaches, bringing with it a cold that went beyond physical sensation, a cold that reached into the mind. Shield failure imminent. The station's automated system warned. Evacuation recommended. Divert auxiliary power to the shields, Toril ordered. We need more time. The moment stretched into crisis as power levels fluctuated, the shield weakening while the inversion field generator slowly charged. The void's presence grew stronger, darkness creeping along corridors toward the central chamber. Power integration complete, Dozek finally announced. The inversion field is ready for activation. Toril studied the tactical display. The void had nearly penetrated the shield completely. Their window for action was measured in moments, not minutes. All personnel returned to the Lumina. She commanded, "Prepare for emergency departure." "What about you?" Mavic challenged. "The field must be calibrated precisely at the moment of shield failure," Toril explained. "I've studied the human calculations. It requires direct observation and adjustment. I'll join you once it's activated." Reluctantly, the team complied, evacuating to the Lumina while Toril remained at the control interface. As the last of her crew departed, Admiral Chen's hologram appeared beside her. "You understand what must be done," the human projection stated, not a question, but a recognition. "Yes," Toril replied, though she knew she was speaking to a recording, not a consciousness. "The field requires direction, a conscious mind to guide it. We called it the focus," Admiral Chen's hologram explained. Our calculations showed that the inversion field needs more than energy. It needs purpose, intent, a mind to shape its effect. The field will protect you physically, but your consciousness will be exposed to the void directly. Outside, the cognitive shield failed completely. Darkness flowed into the station like water, surrounding the central chamber where Toril worked. The temperature plummeted as the void's presence intensified. With steady hands, Toril activated the inversion field generator. Energy surged through the station, channeling through ancient human technology, enhanced by Mirzani innovation. A new kind of shield formed, not to block the void, but to embrace it, to transform it. As the field expanded, Toril felt her consciousness extending with it, her mind becoming the focus, the point where energy and intent merge. The void resisted, its alien awareness pressing against her thoughts with terrible cold. In that moment of connection, Toril understood what humanity had discovered. The void was ancient, yes, but not malevolent in a way meaningful to organic minds. It was simply the opposite of creation. The negative space in the universe's consciousness. It consumed because that was its nature, just as stars shone because it was theirs. The inversion field strengthened, powered by the luminous quantum core and guided by Toril's conscious intent. Where her mind touched the void, transformation began, darkness becoming light, consumption becoming creation. The process accelerated, the field expanding beyond the station to encompass the breach in the containment zone. The void thrashed against this fundamental change to its nature, but the mathematics of the human design proved sound. The inversion was irreversible once begun. On the Lumina, the crew watched in awe as space itself seemed to fold and unfold, darkness transmuting into brilliant energy that expanded in fractal patterns. The station became a nexus of transformation, channeling the void's vast energy into a new form. When the process completed, the darkness was gone, replaced by a nebula of swirling light, consciousness energy in its purest form. The threat that had consumed humanity had been transformed into its opposite. Among the dissipating energy, the Lumina detected a Mirzani life sign, changed but intact. They recovered Toril, her form physically unaltered, but her consciousness expanded beyond her species' limitations. She had glimpsed what the humans had theorized. The fundamental unity of all consciousness, the potential for transformation rather than destruction. As the Lumina departed the station, now broadcasting a new message across space, Toril regarded the hologram of Admiral Chen one final time. "You succeeded," she told the human image. "Your sacrifice wasn't in vain." The warning was heard. The legacy continues. The hologram smiled, a simple gesture that transcended the species barrier. That was always our hope. Not that we would survive, but that life would continue. That consciousness would evolve to face challenges we couldn't overcome.